There has been a lot of speculation about what Nintendo will call their next generation device. The Nintendo Switch 2, the Switch Super, the Switch Advance. Now we have this new name that popped up via a YouTube questionnaire, the Switch Attach. So today I want to talk about all of that and more and kind of speculate and talk about what will Nintendo call their next console. And of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo Switch speculation, theories, discussions, all of that stuff, I would appreciate you subscribing. Let's get into it. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and today I wanted to talk about this recent rumor that popped up yesterday about the potential name for the Switch 2 or the Switch successor. I've been referring to it as Switch 2 throughout all my videos, so I'll probably keep doing that throughout this video. But yesterday, a user on Reddit posted an image for a YouTube survey. On YouTube, if you don't have premium, if you're watching like a video, sometimes you'll get surveys as ads, and they posted this image of a survey they got on YouTube, which was asking, which of these gaming products would you consider buying? And the options were PS5, Series X, and a Switch Attach, or none of the above. So they posted this on Reddit. This is the only proof we have that this even exists. It could be edited, it might not be, who knows? But it's got a lot of people talking. A lot of people were making videos about this supposed name for the Switch 2, the Switch Attach, and you know, first gut reaction is, wow, that's a really dumb name, you know? But then second reaction is, oh, wait, Nintendo does dumb names a lot. And I think the naming and messaging of this next console has been probably like one of the most interesting aspects when it comes to Switch 2 speculation, just because of how bad Nintendo failed with the Wii U and its naming and marketing. We want to see them kind of follow up the Switch with a successor that has good marketing, good messaging. It is clear that it is a new console. Switch Attach doesn't really ensue that level of confidence, I feel like, at least not for me, especially when you consider attachment. Switch attachment. A lot of people thought the Wii U gamepad was an attachment, so you can see where the confusion already could be sprouting. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, low-key, could this make sense? Now, something I made a video on quite a while ago was that I want the Switch 2 to have some sort of nice gimmick, and preferably, I would like it to be the return of the dual screen. I think dual screen gaming is awesome, and in that video, I specifically said, how cool would it be? And, you know, I'm not a hardware engineer. I don't know how likely this is because I feel like this would make it very expensive. But how cool would it be if you have your Switch, which has all of the internals of the Switch, right? But then you can attach a screen to the top of it and fold it like a clamshell. And that would be your, you know, DS-style gaming. But then also you could use that top screen as a Wii U gamepad. If you remember when they announced the Switch, they were very proud of the fact that the Switch was kind of the evolution of every idea Nintendo's had in the past, but the only one that really didn't get, you know, any kind of feature with the Switch, except for the touchscreen, was the DS, like the dual screen kind of environment that the DS offered developers when making games. So if they want to continue in that path of just kind of having all of their history represented in one console, you kind of need to have a dual screen, because that is a very, very integral part of Nintendo's history. Like I said, though, I'm not a hardware engineer. To me, as great as that sounds, as much as I would love that, I don't know how likely that is just from a hardware perspective and manufacturing perspective. I feel like that would make the console very expensive. But it's also worth noting, there was a patent for just this thing in October. So I'll put up some images. This is an article from Nintendo Life, and I'll have all the sources linked down below. But basically, this patent is showing a Switch that you detach the top screen and then you fold it, and there's actually a screen on the outside as well, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure how that would work with this idea of dual screen gaming. Like, I guess there would be buttons on the outside too. I'm not too sure, but they have patented a top screen that detaches and kind of clamshells onto a Switch, or a Switch-looking device from this patent. And it is worth noting that not every patent ends up being true. I would say most of the patents we see come out of Nintendo publicly almost never actually amount to anything. But we're talking about a patent for a detachable screen, as well as this potential leak. Once again, pretty unfounded, I would say. It's just one user on Reddit that got this questionnaire, but a rumor from Reddit that the Switch 2's name might be the Switch Attach. That kind of almost makes sense. Like, the Switch Attach is a terrible name if it's just, like, referring to how you attach the Joy-Con to the system, but if the attach wording in that name is specifically about a new major gimmick, I think that's actually okay, because in the trailer, they can be like, you know the Switch, you're switching, you're doing all the Switch stuff, but now you attach the new screen. So the more I think about the Switch attach rumor, the more I actually kind of hope it is true, because I want dual screen gaming. Like, that is my #1 wish from a Switch successor. That is my only issue with the Switch as a hardware, honestly, aside from being, a little underpowered at this point. I want dual screen games back, and this would be so perfect because it would allow Nintendo to bring back DS games and Wii U games. And I know there's not very many Wii U games left, but it would allow them to do these things, and I feel like there's so much untapped potential for what they can do with development on a dual screen device that I would just personally love to see this come back. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. When I first saw the name Switch Attach, I was like, ew, Switch Attach, that doesn't make any sense. That's a terrible name. The more I thought about it, the more I thought about that patent about the detachable screen, I was like, wait a minute. This is exactly what I want. But I also wanted to talk about other potential names for this console, because that is the talking point right now. Assuming it is a kind of standard successor with no gimmick, which I do think is, like, I've been kind of skeptical of that. I think that's not entirely likely. People have been talking about how the Switch 2 is just going to be a more powerful console, and while I think that is possible just based on where Nintendo's at right now, it's not unlikely that they have some sort of new gimmick like a detaching top screen. So I will say that. But let's assume it is just a pretty standard, power upgrade, that kind of thing, new games that are exclusive to it, but no major new gimmick to be seen. What should they call it? So the Switch 2 is what I've been calling it in all my videos. I don't think they will call it that. That would be fine in my opinion, because, it's a Switch 2. It's more Switch. It's, PlayStation has no issue getting away with that naming convention. I think Nintendo probably could as well, but I don't think they will. And then the only other names I see pop up that often are like Super Nintendo Switch and Switch Advance and these kinds of things. I don't think there's a chance Nintendo uses any name like that. And in fact, I would actually make the argument that Super Nintendo Switch or Switch Advance is a worse name than Switch Attach. The words Super and Advance and Pro and Plus and all these things, these don't mean what they used to in the 90s anymore. Super, specifically, is used as the mid-generation upgrade to NVIDIA's graphics cards, for example. Graphics card like the 2060S, the 3060S, right? So the word super inherently, I think, is completely out of the conversation. I do not think they could possibly call this thing a Super Switch, because super implies a midterm upgrade. Consumers have been fed for the past several years that super, or even just the letter S, is kind of related to a mid-generation upgrade. iPhone 7S, right? That is what that means now. So I don't think they would use the word super, and just kind of along that same train of thought, I think the words like advance and all that, like these almost sound more like pro models than a successor. It's definitely a hard question to ask, because if they don't call it the Switch 2, and it is like a Switch, I guess I should say that, right? If it does have Switch in the name, what do they call it, assuming it doesn't have some sort of major gimmick? If it's not Switch 2, if it's not Switch attached because of some gimmick, what do they possibly call it if words like super and advance are off the table? I mean, only Nintendo, I guess, could know, but maybe just another verb, Switch Go, like stuff like that. But I don't know. It's really hard to pinpoint what Nintendo will name a console. I mean, even after the July Eurogamer report in 2016, no one was predicting, oh, they're going to call the NX the Nintendo Switch. And I remember when we first heard that name, there was a lot of like, oh, that's a weird name. Not quite to the extent of like Wii, and especially not Wii U, but it was definitely like not a given, like, oh, they're going to call it, the name's going to be based off of the fact that you're switching from a docked setting to a handheld setting. It wasn't until we saw the name Switch, like, oh, that makes sense. And even then, at first, it was kind of like the gut reaction of, oh, that's a little weird. Which is why when I talk about the Switch Attach, the gut reaction is, wait, that's a really bad name. Why would they use the word attach in the name of a console? But the more you think about it, and the more you think about the possibility of a gimmick being attaching a top screen or something, making it a DS-style system, that kind of makes sense. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. What do you think Nintendo should name their Nintendo Switch successor? What do you think of this Switch Attach rumor? I say rumor, kind of loosely there, because like I said, and I'll link it down below, it is at the moment just one user on Reddit who posted a screenshot of a supposed questionnaire that they got. It could be completely fake, but a lot of people were talking about it, and it made me think of that patent, so I wanted to cover it here. So let me know what you think of that possibility in the comments down below. And if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo Switch speculation theories discussions, I would appreciate you subscribing. I really do appreciate that. I do appreciate all the support. I read most of the comments when I can, so once again, keep commenting, all that stuff. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames, join the Discord that is linked down below, and until next time, folks, peace.